Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the Jordan Westbrook One Take 2. So this is Russell Westbrook's budget model shoe by Jordan brand. Of course, we have the original One Take or Westbrook One Take, and this was a banger, very good budget shoe, very good performer, and with really nice and cozy materials. And this was called the Westbrook One Take, but looking at the Nike website, they're calling this just the Jordan One Take 2. So I guess they removed the Westbrook from the name, but you know, whatever. It's $100, so it's pretty much a budget model shoe. Of course, this is Russell Westbrook's signature shoe with Jordan brand. This is the Why Not 0.4. And just let me ask you guys, what looks better? You know what I'm saying? I feel like the Westbrook One Take or just the One Take 2 looks actually a lot better than the actual signature shoe. But anyways, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the tracciones. So the traction here in the Westbrook One Take 2 is a bunch of like little line nub things, and it's super soft where the white part of the outsole is. And I don't know if the durability is going to be good, because you know, the Westbrook One Take, the durability wasn't, it was okay, but it wasn't the best. And same thing with the 0.4. This one's pretty bad too with the nubs. It's actually, you know, it's actually very bad. Review will be coming soon, by the way. But anyways, yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing. I don't know, for some reason Westbrook's shoes don't have good durability, because like the Why Not 0.3 was also pretty bad with that lightning pattern. But the herringbone pattern where the zoom pod is, the rubber is actually hard there, and I feel like that part's going to be durable. And I guess that's kind of where the highway area is a little bit, but for the most part, I don't think it's going to be durable. As far as the bite goes on my wood floors, it seems okay, not the best, but it kind of reminds me of the Why Not 0.3. You know, the 0.3 had a pretty bad traction at first, but you needed to break it in, and once you did, it had very good traction. So hopefully it'll get better for the One Take 2, but right now it's okay. Here in the midfoot, we have a plastic, like a very soft plastic midfoot shank plate, and I don't really even think this does anything. They say, you know, it's supposed to save weight, and I guess it does, because rubber is like heavy, as you guys know, and it kind of cuts into the midsole, saving weight as well. But look at this. You guys see that? It bends in the midfoot like this. And I don't know if that's gonna provide a lot in a lot of torsional support, but like, it's not a huge deal, because you know, Kyrie's have done that in the past, and of course Kobe's have done that too. Like, if you look at the Kobe 8 and the Kobe 9, they're using a drop-in midsole, and there's really no shank plate or anything. And like, I had no issues, and I know a lot of people that didn't have any issues with those shoes. So I don't think it's a huge deal, but I don't know, like, this plastic is, I feel like, a little too soft, you know? Alright, moving on to the cushioning setup. So it's basically just a full length phylon, and here in the heel, it's actually quite soft. Jordan brand does a good job with their phylon, you know, as opposed to Nike, where they make it super stiff. Jordan brand softens it up just a little bit, so it seems like there's a little bit of compression, but they do cage it up a little bit, I guess like halfway up here into the midsole in the heel. So that kind of sucks, but it feels kind of nice. I'm not saying it's like terrible, and I'm not saying it's like really nice. I'm saying it's just like, it seems okay right now. And then here in the forefoot, there is a zoom unit. It's top loaded, and it feels okay, you know, as opposed to the Why Not 0.4. Like, right when you get it, this is a double stacked zoom unit here in the forefoot, even though the shape is pretty much the same. And this is insanely bouncy here in the forefoot, right? The Westbrook One Take 2, it seems okay right now. I feel like I need to break it in, and once I do, I'll feel it a little bit more, but right now it's okay, you know? So there is the cushioning there. Moving on to the materials. So they're using pretty much a shit mesh. And as you guys know, I don't really like shit mesh all too much, right? But there is another underlying material, and I'm guessing it's like a just like a textile material or something. And it's basically dual layered, and it's very thin. It's soft. It doesn't feel too cheap, even though they are using shit mesh, so it's not a huge deal, and it feels very minimal. Ventilation seems to be pretty good right now, and it's just soft and cozy here in the toe box, so I like that so far. And then here on the medial side of the toe box, we have some fuse, as well as here on the lateral side, and that's going to improve the durability as well as strengthen the material up for lateral containment, just to add some support into this material, because as you guys know, shit mesh isn't very supportive, you know? Moving on here into the midfoot area, we got some straps for eyelets. They are stitched down though, so they're not like free flowing. But I guess like when you do tighten the laces, they do kind of like tighten the straps a little bit and improve the lockdown just a minimal amount. And another cool little touch here is that there's a lot of Russell Westbrook's logo on this shoe, right? So here on the tongue, you guys can see the Westbrook logo. Here on the lateral side, you guys can see the stitching, like this yellow stitching. And then here in the heel, we can also see an enlarged Westbrook logo as well, which I think is pretty damn cool. And of course, we have it on the midfoot chain plate. Moving on into the heel, we have a synthetic suede material, like a nubuck material, which feels very, very cheap, but it's a $100 shoe, so you can't really complain. As far as the tongue goes, here in the bottom of the tongue, we got some more mesh, and then on top of the tongue, we have a very cheap suede, and there is a minimal amount of padding, but it is oversized. Look at how large this tongue is, so that feels good when you tighten the laces, and it's just an independent tongue, so it's not really attached to anything as far as an inner booty goes. And then here in the ankle area, there's surprisingly a very, very small amount of padding, right? So if you look at the sides of the ankle area, there's really not a lot of padding. Most of the padding in the shoe is like here where your Achilles is. And also if you look at the shape of the heel right here, there's no padding at the bottom of the heel. And then once you come up, there is a little bit of padding which helps for lockdown. So for quality, the One Take 2 isn't the best, but on foot, I feel like it feels pretty damn nice. You know, I feel like it'll get the job done. I am a little bit worried about support, but I don't think it's gonna be a huge issue. All right, moving on to the fit, I would suggest going up half a size, right? So I went true to size and it is quite snug. And I would say there's just a tiny bit of space here, just a tiny bit, but I don't know, it kind of like tapers very, very sharply here in the tip of the toe. So it's really, really tight right here. So I would suggest going up half a size if you feel that that would be a little uncomfortable for you. Width-wise, I would say it's normal width, and here in the toe box, it's a little snug. I wouldn't say it's like super snug like the KD13s, and also there's not a whole lot of dead space, which makes the overall fit here in the forefoot pretty good and comfortable. Also, this shoe is super easy to put on. There is a very large heel tab. The tongue opens up a lot. All right, for support and lockdown, Westbrooks for some reason are pretty narrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at the shoe, there's really no outrigger. Like, for example, let's check the GH2, right? As you guys can see, the GH2 is around like a couple of millimeters. Like, I would say like 5, 6, 7 millimeters wider than the One Take 2, and as well as the Why Not 0.4. So, I mean, Westbrook is more of like a straight to the rack kind of guy. He doesn't do a lot of lateral movement, so I guess that's not as important for lateral stability, but for me, that's not really how I play. And that's what I felt here in the 0.4 as well. It's just it's not that it was unplayable, it just felt like not as stable as I would like, you know, like here in the Why Not 0.4. And as for lateral containment, I feel like it's gonna be good. You know, here in the forefoot, like I mentioned before, we have this fused material. The midsole doesn't really come up all too much, so that's probably just gonna help to cage you in. And here in the midfoot, we have this plastic piece, and this is not connected to the midfoot chain plate. It's its own independent piece, but it does come up acting as a sidewall, and you have an internal TPU heel counter as well as the midsole coming up to cage you here in the heel. So I feel like lateral containment is going to be good. As far as the weight goes, this shoe feels extremely light. Like the material is just super thin. There's not a whole lot of padding. The midfoot chain plate helps to save weight as well. So I'm guessing like 10, 11 ounces. 11.32 ounces. That's a lot lighter than the first shoe. Let's see, 12.35. Well, that's not a lot lighter, just a little bit. And then the Why Not 0.4 is also super light, 11.64 ounces. So yeah, the One Take 2 feels very minimal and very light on foot. I like how it feels. You feel a little bit high up off the ground though, so that kind of sucks. But other than that, it feels very, very good on foot so far. As far as the aesthetics go, I like it. Like I mentioned in the start of the video, I think it looks way better than the Why Not 0.4. And I feel like it should have switched. You know what I'm saying? This should have been the main signature shoe, and this should have been like the One Take 2. But anyways, so tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, my first impressions are looking pretty good so far for the One Take 2. I mean, it pretty much checks everything that I want in a basketball shoe, and it's pretty cheap. It's $100. There are some things that could go wrong with the shoe though. I guess traction can be like bad, or it can be very, very not durable, and maybe this shoe might not be supportive because, you know, the shit mesh, like I mentioned, is not like super supportive. So it can still go wrong, but from my first impressions, it's feeling really nice so far. And I also really like the kind of like DIY look of the One Take 2. Like if you guys look at the shoe, there's a lot of exposed stitching. Again, if you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.